Okay guys, well today is a video I've been waiting to make ever since I bought my first Tesla, and that is to tow a full-size caravan with an EV. Today I'm inside the Kia EV9. This is the Earth variant, so it has a towing capacity of 2.5 ton and something like 225 kilo on the ball. But of course, being an EV, that doesn't answer all the questions. The question is the efficiency. How bad is it? In the last video, I towed a flatbed trailer and my boat to see how the efficiencies were. I think from memory, it was something like 45 and 55 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which in this car means about 200 and 230 kilometers of range out of a full tank. So I contact Camper Agent. I said, can you throw a van at me so I can do a video demonstrating that an EV can tow the caravan and also have a look at the efficiencies? And lo and behold, here we are. I've got an ADRIA ALTEA 552. This is a bunk van. This is the largest of the ADRIA caravans, or the longest and heaviest, still coming in under 2 ton, fully loaded. So this car can easily handle the weights. It's really the question of how it goes with the efficiency of having the big windsock behind it. Well, that's what I'm here to find out. I'm going to test the caravan at 60 kilometers an hour. I'm going to test it at 80 kilometers an hour, and then I'm going to test it at 100 kilometers an hour and see how bad it gets. So far, I've towed the caravan at 60 kilometers an hour through the streets, around roundabouts, stop go, and it's averaged 40 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Now at that rate, we're at about 250 kilometer range when fully charged. So let's see how we go at 80 kilometers and then 100 kilometers after that. So I'm just jumping onto a 90s road now where I'm going to do 80 kilometers an hour for a certain distance to try and get a rough average. Just interesting fact about ADRIA, they're actually made in Slovenia. And at that, this particular company makes so many of these caravans. They manufacture more caravans than all of the Australian manufacturers combined. That is a hell of a lot of caravans, and you can imagine when you make that many caravans, you get bloody good at it. The caravan doesn't have any particular frame. It's similar to an esky. It's a full composite shell. So there's no chances of any rot like you get in the timber frames or anything like that. They're incredibly strong, they're incredibly well insulated, and they're incredibly light, which is why we're towing one today with the EV. So I'm now sitting on 83 kilometers an hour because real world, this car is 3 kilometers slower than it says on the speedo. So at 83 kilometers an hour, I'm doing exactly 80 kilometers an hour GPS speed. One other thing I want to do is actually a bit of a drag takeoff, just to show you guys how fast this car is, how much power it's got, and how light the caravan is. I would dare say we'll probably still take off faster than most of the other cars on the road. And I'm gonna absolutely give it the bee's knees. Ready, set, go. Mind you, I don't have it in sport, but we are flying. No, just like that, just 80 kilometers an hour, like that. It is so quick. I want to do that again actually in sport and see how this goes. I'll just pull over. Okay, well, we're now in sport, which is probably a no-no when towing, but you got to do it once. Ready, set, go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. That's just so freaking quick. It shows you how powerful these cars are. So at 83 kilometers an hour, we're averaging 43.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, which is barely worse than the stop-start traffic 60k an hour, which is pretty bloody impressive. But I had a feeling because this car is so big that the wind shear would actually jump over the caravan. Obviously the caravan's making the efficiency worse, but not as bad as you might think. All right, well, since we're on a 90s road, I'm gonna sit at 93 kilometers an hour and we'll see how much worse the efficiency gets. Bear in mind, a lot of people with their turbo diesels, the 4-cylinders and the older 6-cylinders, only tow at 90 kilometers an hour. So for an EV to tow at 90 kilometers an hour with no issues at all is pretty impressive. Even if I put my foot down right now, it's just crazy. The EVs are always going to improve in their efficiencies, but their power, their instant torque is already there. It's not getting any better. Even if it did get any better, it would be too much. You don't need any more power than what the EVs are already putting out. They are completely capable of towing a large caravan. I would even put something bigger than this if I could. Reach out if you know of a bigger caravan I can get my hands on than the ADRIA ALTEA that comes in under 2.5 ton. But at the moment, as far as I'm aware, the ADRIA ALTEA 5.52 is where it's at. So cruising at 90, there's barely any difference. We're at 45 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So the difference in the speeds here is almost negligible. Where in like the Patrol V8, for instance, the difference between 80 and 100 is huge. I'm gonna go straight past 100 because I feel like it's pretty consistent. I'm gonna go straight to 110. Right now I'm sitting at 110 on the dot with this huge caravan behind the car. You wouldn't even know. And if I put my foot down, mind you, I'm still in sport. That's a genuine inertia. That is genuine inertia on my head. The EVs are crazy when it comes to how much torque they have. All right, so I'm actually catching up to traffic here. I have to go in the right lane because people are too slow for me. Let's cruise at 113 and see where we average out. At the moment, we're still under 50 kilowatt hours per 100. The craziest thing about this is this is almost more efficient than the boat or the 16-foot trailer. That blows my mind, but at the same time, I had an inkling. That the ADRIA ALTEA, it's a beautiful shaped caravan. I had an inkling that it would be more aerodynamic than definitely the boat. The boat is a windsock, but I had a feeling it would be even more aerodynamic than the flat 16-foot car trailer. So there you have it, 110 kilometers an hour with ADRIA ALTEA, 47.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Now, mind you, if you're going up steep hills, that's going to change drastically. I've actually found that EVs hate steep hills more than they hate the wind resistance of high speeds. So if I was going up a 500-meter incline, this might be more like 55 kilowatt hours per 100, where at 110, it's at 45 kilowatt hours per 100. So it's actually more efficient to drive on the freeway at speed than it is to drive up a steep hill. Okay, so I'm heading back now, and I want to say something. I said it in the last video, and it felt strange to say, but I still prefer the Kia EV9 over the Nissan Patrol as a tow vehicle, presuming that you're meeting the requirements. The requirements being obviously under 2.5 ton with the weight and under the 225 kilo or whatever it is on the tow ball. Presuming you're meeting those requirements and you don't need anything more than that, the Kia EV9 would be my go-to car. I mean, I've just gone from 0 to 110. You can't even hear it. I'm overtaking that Ford Ranger there with his tiny 6x4 with a freaking massive caravan. It's just incredible how things are going. This caravan has a full ALCO suspension as well as brakes and chassis. So the entire thing is very high quality. ALCO is a very well-known brand out there. Inside you've of course got the bunks, a bed, an ensuite and a kitchenette. This thing is absolutely set up to go. So at 47.8 kilowatts at 110 kilometers an hour, you will get well over 200 kilometers to a charge. So as you know, I've got the deposit on the BYD Shark, which is the new electric ute with a petrol engine in it that's coming out in December. If you want to see another video of how that tows, let me know, because I am as curious as you probably are. I have a feeling it's going to be even better than the Kia EV9 based upon its design, but then at the same time being a utility and the way that air flows over it, it might be worse in efficiencies. So even though it will have a longer range due to the petrol tank, I think it might get worse efficiency per 100 kilometers towing the caravan. Only one way to find out. All right, guys, if you enjoy this stuff, make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.